You can see on the screen I'm doing a 2023 updated review on one of the more popular rent reporting services, RentReporters.com. And I want to give a big shout out, and let me see if I can pull his comment up on the screen. So this was a comment by one of my subscribers, Daniel Iselis. Sorry if I mispronounced your name, but he went ahead and he made a comment on a video that I recorded last year. He said, "This needs an update, brother. Check FICO website again. You were right. These rent reporters are now worth it." And I told him, "You're 100% right, Daniel. I'm working on the update video as we speak." So this video right here is a response to Daniel. So make sure, guys, if you have questions, if you have comments, I'm going to be making sure to go down deep into the comments, pull them out, and I want to do comprehensive video responses to some of your questions and to some of your comments. In a nutshell, this was a video that I did last year where I went over Rental Karma, Level Up, and I believe Rent Reporters. And I basically said, let me go back to the website. These companies like Rent Reporters, they're pretty good. They do what they said that they're going to promise, which is they're going to take the rent that you're paying to your landlord, or even if you are living with your parents, right? And your parents are your landlord and you're renting out a room, they're going to go ahead and take that information and they're going to report it to the credit bureaus and you're going to get credit. The reason why I said I wasn't a huge fan at that time, this was 2021. At the time I said this wasn't really worth it. Vantage and FICO at that time, they weren't factoring in rental payments. This was the case up until a few weeks ago. And I did a comprehensive deep dive on this literally days ago. So make sure that you go back and you check out the Vantage 4.0 video that is here. I go into all of the details and I basically explain to you all the changes that are happening. But all you need to know as of this video is that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, these are the big players that are essentially controlling the mortgage industry, right? These are the biggest players in town. They're going to go ahead and now they're recognizing Vantage 4.0 and FICO 10T. And one of the major changes in Vantage 4.0 and FICO 10T is that now they're going to be recognizing rental payment, rental history. So what that means is now if you go to a company like Rent Reporters, or if you go to Rental Karma, or there's at least probably 4 or 5 other rent reporting services that do similar things, but today we want to be talking about Rent Reporters. Now when they go ahead and they put your rental history on your credit reports, when you go to the lenders, when you go to the bank and you try to get a loan, they can now actually see this information. So now you're going to be getting credit. So starting now, and of course it's going to happen more in the future, now when you go to the lenders and to the banks and to the auto dealerships, trying to get a mortgage, whatever you're trying to do, now the banks are going to be recognizing these rent reporting services. Now they're going to be able to pull your credit report. They're going to see your on-time payment of your rent history, and they're going to reward you for that. They're going to give you credit for that. So with all that being said, let's jump to the website. Let me make sure I'm on the screen here. Let me jump to the website. You can see here, RentReporters.com. Build your credit by reporting your rent. Let us help you build and improve your credit so you can jumpstart your financial future. Did you know your on-time rent payments are not automatically factored into your credit score? After adding their rent to their credit file, our customers see an average increase of 40 points in 10 days. So now are they BSing? Are these claims legit? Well, let's look at the first thing right here. Your on-time rent payments are not automatically factored into your credit score. That is true. You go to an auto dealership, your car payments, they're going to be reported to Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax without question. You pay your mortgage payment on time, they're going to take that information, they're going to send it over to the credit bureaus without question. All of the major players report your payment history over to the credit bureaus except your landlord. So this is the reason why you have to go to websites like Rent Reporters, because their service is they take that information and then they actually report that to the credit bureaus. What about the 40-point increase in 10 days? If you are somebody that you don't have a thick and substantial credit profile, meaning you don't have installment loans, you don't have a bunch of credit cards currently reporting to your credit reports every single month, you don't have a mortgage, you probably don't have a car note, you don't have much credit, adding something like a Rent Reporters or adding something like a self or an installment loan, because your credit profile is so thin, if you add something like a Rent Reporters, I'm going to show you why you can actually see a substantial increase. This right here is a breakdown of what creates your credit score. So now if you go ahead and you sign up with somebody like a Rent Reporters and you have a thin credit profile, here's what's going to happen. Amounts owed is really not going to be at play here, because amounts owed is more so for revolving credit. Rent Reporters is basically an installment, so you're not going to be getting points for the amounts owed. Again, that's more so for revolving credit lines. But you will be getting credit for new credit. So you're going to be adding a new positive trade line to your credit reports. Length of credit history. Another cool thing about Rent Reporters is they're actually going to be able to give you and backdate 24 months of rent history. So if you've been with your landlord, or if you've been, living at your mom's house, but you're paying her $500, $600 a month, they're going to be able to take, starting today, they're going to be able to go back in time and actually give you credit for the last 2 years of you paying your rent on time. Keyword, rent on time. Do not go to these services and, sign up for these Rent Reporters if you've missed, your rent payments a bunch of times in the last 2 years. It's going to work against you. But if you've been doing what you're supposed to do, you've been paying your landlord on time, you've been paying your mama on time for 2 years, that history is now, boom, going to be put on your credit reports. That's another reason why you're going to see a jump in your credit score. It's because length of credit history. It's not just going to be a new trade line added today with no history. 24 months is going to come along with it. That is big time. Credit mix. Banks want to see a mixture. They want to be able to see that, hey, you're able to pay off your credit cards on time. Hey, you have a couple of loans, whether that be your car note, whether that be student loans. Hey, you are paying that on time. They want to see a whole bunch of different type of debt, basically. They want to see a whole bunch of different type of debt on your credit profile, and they want to see that you're able to pay it off on time. So you're going to get credit on your credit mix. And of course, your payment history. If you've been doing what you're supposed to do and you've been paying your rent on time for the last 24 months, and you're going to be able to continue to pay your rent on time for the next however many months or years, your payment history, this is the biggest thing that's going to impact your credit score, your payment history. Rent Reporters is going to help you with that too. So you can see 35%, 10%, 15%, 10%. Rent Reporters is going to help you with all of these, which is basically 4 out of the 5 categories where you can actually get credit. But like I said before, with this amount owed, you're not going to be able to tap into these points until you get a credit card, right? No way around it. So now let's go back to Rent Reporters. This is why they're able to say 40 points in 10 days. 10 days, they're coming up with that number because once you go ahead and you sign up for Rent Reporters, it's going to take about 3 to 5 days for them to verify you, verify your landlord, and then they're going to go ahead and send that information over to the credit bureaus. Now, depending on how long it takes for the credit bureaus to update this information, then you can easily see a substantial credit increase. Now, again, this is not a guarantee. Don't let anyone tell you that there's going to be a specific guarantee of any credit increase. It all depends on what your credit profile looks like today. If you got a whole bunch of lates, if you got a whole bunch of derogatories on your account, and you add one trade line, don't expect to see a substantial increase in your credit reports. Let's say you're fresh out of school, you're 18, 19, you don't really have much on your credit profile, and you add something like this, you now have the potential to see a substantial increase. You can pretty much get any trade line, and if you're following the steps here, if you're following the numbers here, you're going to see a credit increase, or if you're doing these things wrong, you're going to see a credit decrease. The registration process is simple, takes a few minutes, provides some basic information about you and your landlord, and you're on a way to a better credit score. Step 2, we verify your rental history. Did you know you can add up to 4 years of past rent payments? This can boost your score dramatically. Once enrolled, we will contact your landlord to verify your rent history, so be sure to let your landlord know that Rent Reporters will be calling. We report your rent to Equifax and TransUnion. Now, you're probably looking at this and saying, okay, there are 3 credit bureaus. Why are they listing only 2? Unfortunately, at this time, Experian, you're not going to get credit. They're not going to be reporting to Experian. I still think this is actually going to be worth it. If you're getting the points to Equifax, if you're getting the points to TransUnion, yes, of course, we want all 3 of the major credit bureaus to be able to, report this information. It doesn't always work like that. It is what it is, but you're still going to get the credit to 2 out of the 3. And this is what I tell people all the time. Even if you're somebody that is, you're doing disputes on your credit reports right now, you're trying to clean up your credit, and 1 or maybe 2 out of the 3 credit bureaus are actually, working with you, removing the items. It's all right. Just work with the credit bureaus that are working with you. Just go ahead and make sure that your next credit cards, that the next loans that you're trying to apply for, make sure that there are institutions that are going to be pulling your Equifax and TransUnion credit profile, because those reports are going to be the strongest. But as of right now, do not expect to see Experian to reflect this Rent Reporters trade line. And then step number 4, let your rent do the work and watch your credit improve every single month. Once you go ahead and you sign up, they verify your landlord, you pay, and I'm going to go over the pricing in a second. But every single month, they're going to be communicating with your landlord to verify that yes, you are still in fact renting from them, and two, you are still paying on time. So if you go ahead and you scroll down and you hit join now, you're going to see there's going to be a 3-step page. The basic information is going to be you and your information. Step number 2 is going to be your landlord information. You got to put their information here so that Rent Reporters can contact them. And then number 3 is going to be your rental information. This is going to be the information like your rent, how much are you actually paying your landlord every single month. So you have 2 options if you want to go ahead and pay. You have the monthly plan. You go ahead and enroll. $94.95 is the sign-up fee. And then you're going to be paying $9.95 per month. This is not like a cell phone service where you're now forced into a contract. If you go on the left-hand side, you're going to be basically paying month to month. Now, this is probably where I'm going to be telling most people to go ahead and enroll is this way. On the other side, you're going to be getting a slight discount, but you're going to be paying basically 12 months in advance. And depending on your credit score, depending on how thin your credit profile is, if you're adding other primary trade lines like installment loans, like a self, or you have a pleasure loan coming along the way, you may not need to go ahead and pay 12 months in advance. You may not need that because remember, when you go ahead and you sign up, they're going to go ahead and pull the 24 months of what you've been paying in the past. So those 24 months of history that you've been paying already, that's going to come along even with this month-to-month plan. So remember that average age of credit is going to be improved. So now what comes along with this? You're going to get a free credit score. I believe this is going to be one of your Vantage scores. You're going to get a credit dashboard, personal credit specialist, 24 months of rent history. I just mentioned that before. Monthly reporting, expert financial literacy resources, expedited reporting with rent check, spouse roommate discount. Spouses and roommates can sign up at a discounted fee of $50. So if you have a roommate that's going to go ahead and sign up along with you, if you have a spouse that wants to sign up along with you, one of you guys is going to get a $50 discount. And then lastly, additional landlord. Add an additional landlord for $50. So if you currently are renting at a place right now for, let's say, 6 months, but the previous place that you rented, you were there for 4 years, you may want to go ahead and spend the $50 to not only add the current place where you're living, but for them to actually reach out to your previous landlord, and that way you can get credit for that history as well. All right, guys, that is pretty much it. That's basically the rundown on Rent Reporters. In a nutshell, I do like it. I do like it more so now, not because of them doing something different. Fannie and Freddie Mac, they are on board now. More and more lenders, more and more banks and institutions are going to be giving more credence to FICO 10T and Vantage 4.0, which means they're going to be giving more credence to sites like Rent Reporters and other companies that are going to be now reporting your cell phone bills and utilities and your rent. These type of services, as of October 2022, they're now more legitimate. But if you're somebody that is trying to get your feet wet, you're trying to rebuild, you're trying to build for the first time, in my opinion, this is an incredible product, and we're likely going to be seeing more and more companies coming out and offering these type of services. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you already went ahead and you signed up for these type of services in the past. But other than that, that's pretty much all I have for you today. Go down in the comments, let me know your thoughts, and I'm going to catch you in the next video. Please have a blessed one. Have a safe one for all those traveling around the holidays. Have a blessed one. Peace.